Today I'm going to talk about our family of batch freezers. This is a B-5. We also make a B-10. A B-10 just has larger parts. It goes together exactly the same way. The only real difference is that the B-5 fills from an inlet hole on the top. The B-10 has a spout that comes out with a lid on it. Besides that, everything I'm about to show you is identical. First thing we're going to do is align the drive shaft back there pocket with the drive shaft on the end of this dasher to make it easier to find. So without blades, I'm going to go in, find the end back there, and I'm going to put it to where I've got this front piece straight up and down so it's easier to find. And then pull it back out. Next, I'm going to take our rear seal and put it together. You take the plastic piece, wide end down on your thumb, take the rubber, get it right back close to it. I'm going to take my index fingers, push hard, and walk it around to put it on. Okay? Next, I'm going to take some lubricant. I'm going to put 3 pencil eraser size blobs right on this shoulder. I'm going to put the rear seal assembly with the plastic wide part down first onto the end of it. Next, I'm going to take the scraper blades and I'm going to put them on over the pins here. Turn it around, and I'm going to do it again. Then I'm going to remember that I lined the drive shaft up with this being straight up and down. I'm going to come around to the front, put the blades in, and I'm going to go back until I find it. There, just engaged. Next, I have a bearing that goes on the front in this hole with the pin that's on the back. I've got a little bit of lubricant on my finger, so I'm going to put it on and insert it. The dasher assembly is now ready. Next, I have a door. I have a door handle. I have a door pivot arm, a little plastic door, and its O-ring. I need to assemble these together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the handle through the larger hole of the pivot arm. I'm going to put the spring into it. I'm going to get the door with its O-ring. And again, I'm going to put a little bit of lube that's still on my finger on this O-ring so it will slide easier. Also, I'm going to get a little bit more and put it on the door pivot point so that it also goes on and off easier. I'm going to put the spring into the recessed pocket hole of the little door. I'm going to set it down. I'm going to push the pivot arm down. I'm going to get the door handle or the knob right on there. Then I'm going to move it back and forth to be sure that it's operating properly. And then it will go all the way over and seal. And it does. Next, I'm going to get the mixed door O-ring, the large one, put it in its recess. I'm going to drop it this hole down onto this pin, making sure that I still have the O-ring in place. Then I'm going to swing the door shut. I'm going to take the lug, move it over the door, and move the lug knob by tightening it against the door. Again, I'm going to look at this and be sure that the O-ring is completely sealing the door. I have some sanitizer made up here. We supplied no rinse cleaner sanitizer with it. Follow the instructions, make up the appropriate amount. First thing I'm going to do is clean this funnel. And put it up into the inlet tube. So, I'm going to sanitize now. I've got everything put together. I'm going to put in sanitizer water to a point that the top of the little plastic door is just covered. Then I'm going to turn the dasher to the dasher position, the selector switch. Let it run for about a half a minute. I'm going to shut it off. I'm going to grab another container. And I'm going to, with the machine off, this is very important. If you open that door with sanitizer water in there with the dasher running, you're going to get a bath. So I'm just going to lift it up. I still have sanitizer water in there. I want to get it out with mix, not water. So I'm going to leave this door open. I'm going to get mix. And I'm going to slowly pour in a little. Basically just enough to chase the sanitizer out. Then I'm going to close the door, looking to be sure that I do have it covered so it won't leak. Now I'm going to get this out of the way. I'm going to take mix, and again, I'm just going to cover this plastic door. You can go higher. I advise you to experiment it with it. The only two variables on this machine are how much mix you put in and how long you allow the refrigeration to run. So I'm going to cover, put in enough mix again to cover that plastic door. I might go just a little higher. Okay, to operate this machine, I would need to turn the selector switch past dasher into refrigeration. I also would need to turn the timer on. The timer is what turns refrigeration on and off. I like to set the timer at 4 minutes. Again, you're going to have to experiment. Also, when you're running this machine, what most people do is they'll start with the lightest flavor they have, like vanilla. And they will run it, they'll rinse it out, they'll purge it with the next type of flavor they have, shut the door, fill it, and turn it on again. And just go through the day like that, lighter to the darkest, which is typically chocolate. Also, if you're going to put in fruits and nuts, fruits and or nuts, I would advise you to do it after the product comes out. You do not want to let the product get below 24 degrees. If you do, it's very slow to get out. You can actually leave this on long enough to where you will dispense nothing. So about 24 degrees is perfect. That temperature product also allows you to fold in your fruits, nuts, anything else you want at that temperature. So now I'm going to turn it on. Okay, the timer has cycled, shutting down the refrigeration. The dasher is still going. All I need to do now is open this door and dispense product. Both the B-5 and the B-10 have this built-in diverter to get it out to your dispensing bucket. You can see that I got out way more ice cream than I put in product. This is going to be a very high overrun product. What you would need to do to make it not so airy is put in more, but again, I caution you not to get in too much. So I'm going to turn the dasher off. I'm going to again shut the door. I suggest that while you're using this machine, you leave the funnel in place. It's been sanitized. The only thing that's going to hit it from this point on is your mix and some cleaning water. You might want to sanitize it between runs. During off time, I would use the dust cover that we put on it, that we supply with it. So now I'm going to put in water, not too much. I'm going to rinse it out by turning the dasher on. Let it run a little bit. Blend in the frozen product to get it out. It's important, shut it off and open the door. I'm going to shut the door, put in more water, repeat the process. So I'm going to get a little bit larger container over this, shut the door. I'm going to open the door again. At this point, you've got it rinsed. If you wanted to make another run with a different flavor, you would just fill it up by purging a little bit, purging the water out first, putting in more mix and running it again. But now I'm just going to clean it. Going to get the door and pivot arm off. You'll need to get this O-ring out of here. Be sure to get it clean underneath. Lift off the door. Pull out the dasher. blades off. Put the dasher in the bucket. Get the rear seal apart because it also needs to be cleaned. All these parts need to be taken back to a sink and washed with a mild dishwashing detergent and warm water. No dishwasher, no abrasive soaps or chlorine type of cleaner of any kind. You'll also need to get your funnel out. We supply a brush with the machine. You need to get it wet with soapy water. Go down through the inlet hole. Make sure you go clear through into the barrel. I would do this empty. Definitely do not do this machine with the dasher in and it turned on. We'll jerk this out of your hand. Injury to the machine and to yourself could happen. Wash out the inside of the barrel. Let your parts dry and you'll be ready for the next day. Every 6 months, we recommend you replace the wear items with a tune-up kit. The B-5 tune-up kit is 188541. It includes both mixed door O-rings, the front bearing, a new rear seal, lubricant, brush, and an O-ring removal tool. For the B-10, the tune-up kit is 188543. The parts are identical but larger.